Good morning, everybody. This year's program's probably without exception, the most adventurous program we've put together and the most ambitious. 22 nationalities represented in the program, every continent represented.
I'm sure that with all the following speakers, you're going to see a common thread of drawing and getting those direct ideas from your brain onto the page.
If you put carbon under a lot of pressure with a lot of heat, then you can create diamonds. So then we feel like, wow, we can actually make diamonds out of smoggy, foggy air.
Books. Can I just say that the internet fucking scares me? It's part magic and part mayhem, but it's not a design tool.
I think it is important to have a diversity of briefs, a variety of briefs, and a whole lot of different techniques in the different briefs that I'm addressing.
What was interesting wasn't the work itself, but how people responded to it.
We call the Thai in Chinese, what is Thai face? Maybe the Thai had a different shape, like the people's face.
You know, we need to collaborate with people with different skill sets other than just our own, because you'd be amazed in what you can do.
I'm not going to say don't be absurd, because one never knows. That culinary champion might just have something and might be about to achieve the impossible.
What if everything was designed by the golden mean? Imagine a push bike designed by the golden mean. The rear wheel would be under the seat. You know what I mean? Everything's got to be golden mean, you know.
And another great aspect about this project is you can actually interact with any tree. When you're on the map, and you can send it an email. And people have been sending love letters to their favourite trees.
My whole role really was to create imagery throughout the movie for the different characters, which would tell you who they were when you saw them without you even having to really understand what anyone's saying.
So you can see the design is incredibly creative, and it's our job to interpret their requirements and turn them into reality.
I think art is probably too serious a lot of times, so we try to be witty in a way.
The answer is simple. It's just a step aside. Go straight, but be able to look at things from different point of views.
And eventually let our imaginations run wild and free.
I think that with music and drawing are like universal messages, no?
And just personally for me, just talking to all these different designers, they're sort of inspirational, like seeing Wes this morning, the way he actually draws, just seeing how people solve problems in different ways.
If you can actually talk about, you know, their processes and learn a little bit more how they do it, in turn you can bring that back and sort of make it relevant for what you're doing.
Like essentially what I do is chuck up some lights and turn them on. But it's getting to that point is the hard part. And that's probably the design element of it, really.
And what I really like a lot, the chosen people, those who speak, are extremely different.
I think it's extremely important to follow your passions, because if you follow something just because you think it's needed for money or for a job, you'll probably find yourself down the line not really enjoying it.
So I've been trying to keep up the passion and the love for the job, actually, because if you have that, you can't go wrong, I think.
I always thought that if I had a style that was recognisable within the bandwidth of the piece of design communication that I was working on, that would mean some portion of it was actually just communicating, Jonathan Zawada did this.
I wish more of this happened around the world so that, you know, there could be more pollination across creative disciplines.
I think it starts with a conference like this, where you have young people sitting in the audience and they just kind of are exposed to the whole world of design and feel empowered to make change.
We really want to try and be innovative in the kind of work that we're doing, whatever the sort of specific design medium or client or kind of sector that we work in.
So a lot of the work that I do at murals, for example,
I think the digital world is actually helping get to a better result, a better end.
So I just think for about half a minute or so, just go wild and try and make all the different kind of sounds that you might be able to make with this.
To push design boundaries, you need to be as open as to where inspiration can be found. And who knows, you may even find it in a hardware store.
And indeed, it's these sort of positive changes that I've experienced every time I throw myself into a personal project, no matter what it is. I trust more what I see through my lens. The voice of the internal critic is quietened.
Under our clothes, under our skin, we are all human. And it's an important lesson that's taken me 15 or 20 years to learn. Hopefully the next generation will learn it much faster.
That I've been doing this for over 40 years, and I can assure you that it still engages me. The design process still engages me intellectually and creatively every single day.
Go big or go home. No. There's so much going on in the world that whatever you do, you have to make an impact.
So that's my profession, and that's what we do. It's an art festival. It's not just about a profession of the future, but it's a profession for a better future.
Thank you. Good night.